Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today we have Maddy joining us. Hey, Maddy.
Hi.
Hey guys, we have a really exciting video on how to recreate somebody and get rid of the third party using law of assumption. So this video is going to be for anybody that's got a third party they're trying to get rid of, that maybe you've been getting partial manifestations, birds before land, or you've just plain old been doing your mental diet and intentions for a long time and you haven't actually seen any movement. We're going to touch on everyone as you pushed out and give you some techniques that you're going to be able to do to get movement in your manifestation, whatever area you're manifesting in. Just before we get started, guys, we're having a contest. We get to 100,000 subscribers. We're giving away 3 free coaching sessions to 3 different people, 1 each. All you need to do to enter is to subscribe, share our videos, as well as comment in our comment section what you've manifested using the law of assumption or the law of attraction. And guys, remember, Maddy's having a sale on her coaching, so definitely check that out. She's filling up fast. As well as if you would like to ask me, Amanda, a question, you can post it in the Patreon. And also, I do have a course out to create the relationship you love, which has been very popular. So yeah, it's also about recreating any relationship that you have. So awesome. Welcome, Maddy. So excited about this video.
Thank you. Okay, so I've actually been getting a lot of people coming to me the past couple weeks about third parties, recreating people. I've actually had a lot of success in that area. So I can share that information with you guys and you can have just as much success in your daily life and see a lot of movement very quickly. So what I love to do is talk about everybody as you pushed out first, which means that they're in relation to them, it's your thoughts, whatever you think they feel towards you, towards a third party, that's what is going to happen. So if you want to change that, you change the thought or the assumption that you have about it. So one of the things that I absolutely love to do is I remember when. And if it's really hard for you to not think of the specific situation, let's say it just keeps replaying in your mind, it just won't leave no matter what you try to do or affirm against it, what I would do is acknowledge it. Okay, this is happening. I don't like it. Okay, what do I do? I remember when this situation was happening, it could be I had a fight with my SP, or I remember when they walked out and, they found somebody else, or I remember when they started entertaining other people. So we don't like those things. Those are things that don't align with what we want in our end goal, which is commitment, marriage, whatever you want. So I remember when that happened, and now they're fully committed to me. There's no one else. They would never even dream about having anybody else in their life but me in that regard. That has gotten me a lot of success. So has allowing myself to sit in a thought for a minute, gather what my beliefs are about that thought. Because if you really write them down, what I like to do is put one side of my piece of paper as everything that I'm thinking that's negative. You're already thinking it. Don't be afraid of it. It's okay. Like, it's not going to keep going because you're deciding it's not going to keep going. So write them down, and then you can see the common thread that's going on. It could be, I'm not chosen. I'm not a priority. Nobody wants to be, I'm not wanted. Men aren't to be trusted. I can't trust other people in relationships. It could be a lot of different things, or it could just be one thing. So when you see the common thread of that, you can then put on the other side all the things that you do want and focus on those. And you can also focus on the affirmations that are on the other side as well. So those will be good things. And then also you're hitting the beliefs that you already are trying to fight against. And so you're hitting it on the nail. It's all good. And then you can go forward being like, okay, I see that. That's just feedback for me. That's an old belief. I see that for what it is. So let's say your person comes to you again with the same type of thing. Let's say you guys fight about the same thing, or you get word that they hung out with the third party again. Doesn't matter, that's an old belief. It's okay. I intend that I'm the priority. I intend that there's nobody else like me, and there will never be anybody else like me. I'm irresistible and I'm irreplaceable. Even when he's looking at her, or even when we're fighting, he's thinking about how much he loves me. There is nobody else. And even if there was, they're gone, because that person actually reminded him that I'm the one. I love to use a third party as they're the reason why they're with me.
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
Well, when that happens, when that happens, it's one of those things where we can get really, sorry, 1 second. He had to grab the key. Sorry, that was my SP. So anyway, we're moving out together, and so we're in the process of getting all of our stuff in the car, and we're moving to Indiana. So technically, that's a success story in and of itself. I manifested my SP. I did mention that on the video, and he's been fully committed to me since. I technically recreated him as well from third parties too. So I could share a little bit about that as well. Is my SP was known for entertaining other women, and he would not commit. He was very adamant about not committing to anybody. And I had been intending that this specific person comes in my life, and he recreated himself in front of me. I was very adamant about it. I was like, nope, I'm the one. Nobody else like me in his life. He knows I'm the best thing that's ever happened to him. And it doesn't matter. Those women are the that he chooses me, because he realizes because of them that I'm the best thing that's ever happened to him. I'm the one that he wants to marry and commit to. So when you use the third party as like, they are the reason that you are getting what you want, you stop giving them importance. They're not going to be you. So
exactly.
Yeah, and they'll give evidence as to why they're not a match anymore for your specific person. And sometimes I like to throw in there that my specific person also feels, the same about that person. She feels the same about him, my specific person, and she's actually found somebody else too. It makes it a little bit better when the third party has found somebody else so that they can also be happy, just as happy as me, because I want to see the third party happy.
Exactly. And one thing I'd like everybody to notice about Maddy's intentions that she just gave about recreating her specific person is they were all focused about what he is actually thinking about her. This is so incredibly important. I think it gets overlooked a lot. So yes, self-concept is important. Everybody loves me. Everyone thinks I'm amazing. You can say those, okay, but still have one person that doesn't actually reflect that back to you, because thoughts are things, and everything is sort of everything is sort of separate. So you can still create that Jerry wants nothing to do with you, but constantly say that everybody loves you, and Jerry won't be included in that, because our thoughts are like Post-it notes. They stick to people. So we need to recreate those. So one success story that I had was with Andrew, and I've told this many, many times, when we first were dating, my self-concept has always been excellent. I'm always like, I'm the best thing in the world. Okay. Hands down. I've been like that since I was a young person. I always never take anything personally. And you know what, I'm over it, but with me and Andrew, my story with him was that any guy that's been previously married doesn't want to get into another commitment. Okay. So that had nothing to do with me. It was nothing to do that I didn't think I was good enough. It had nothing to do with that I wasn't skinny or anything like that. It was my story that I was projecting on to all men that were previously married. So, if you're doing your self-concept, and I know all of you guys are, because that's talked about a lot, and you're not getting movement, then we want to start looking and doing a technique of writing down, or at least spending some time going, this is what my SP thinks about me, this, or whoever you want to recreate, right? Really focus on what the other person is thinking, because everyone's you pushed out, like Maddy said, every thought that you have is constantly going out to people, right? So you want to sit there and go, okay, listen up, Andrew. You think I'm the best thing in the world, and you worship the ground I walk on, right?
Yeah. And one of my other favorite things to affirm, just because I do like to be over dramatic with my own affirmations, because I like to see big results. And so something that I've said before is they always beg to commit to me. And they do.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, they always beg to commit to me. They show me that they're trustworthy. If you ever have some issues where, and I've had this in my past too, where I just didn't trust relationships. Everybody that I'd ever been with has cheated on me, and they show me that they're not worth trusting. So therefore, I can't trust relationships. So I turn that around by, obviously saying I can trust relationships, and everybody, especially my SP, shows me that they are worth trusting.
Exactly. Mhm.
Keep affirming that. And if you want to be specific about it, you could be like, they show me that they're loyal to me every day. They show me that I'm the priority and that they would do anything for me. They always initiate conversations with me. They can't go a day without talking to me because that's how in love with me they are. And I'm always on their mind. They can't get me out. Every time that they even see someone else, they think of me. And just make everything
Mhm.
mean what you want. Like even if you perceive it as like a negative or a positive, that's the one thing that's going to get me exactly what I want. And he is going to realize this and realize that I'm the one, and he's going to be with me, and he's committing to me right now.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, guys, all those intentions were about what the other person's thinking. And, I remember I was beating my head against the wall with a 7-year relationship before Andrew. And of course, guess what? You guys guessed it. He was previously married. So he didn't want a commitment. And, and and it was just so frustrating, because I know sometimes when we create those things and then we think, oh, is there something wrong with me? What do I need to do differently? What do I need to change about me? But it's not always about changing you. It's about just identifying and observing your thoughts about what you think other people think. And this is where, we get the most quickest movement is going, okay, I'll tell you what other people think about me, and really sit down and spend some time with that. Like, honestly, like when I identified that, and how it happened is I had the relationship talk with Andrew. I said, well, you know what, we date, you're over every single day. Like, why don't you want to be in a committed relationship and move in with me? And he's like, because I was previously married and I've got baggage. And I was like, oh my, it was word for word of what I said 10 years previously, talking to one of my girlfriends over a glass of wine. And I didn't even mean it at the time. But guess what? It showed up. And I was like, are you kidding? And he's just like, no. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, whereas we don't encourage the relationship talk, but if you do have that time, they are going to tell you what your blocks are. Like, they will. They always will, because they're constantly reflecting them back. So it's about observing your thoughts without judgment and just asking yourself, do you want to keep that thought or do you want to change it? Is that thought in line with what your end goal is, or do you want to change it? And if it's a thought like, if you want to be in a committed relationship, but you've got a belief that men that are previously married don't want committed relationships, then what's going to happen is that's a block, that's resistance. So how do you change it? You just acknowledge it and you say, okay, yeah, I said that. Okay, now this is what I want instead. And the minute that I said, nope, you know what, Andrew's over his baggage, he's a smart guy, and he knows that I'm not, da. And then that's when things shifted, and really quickly as well. So really quickly. So again, I don't discourage, start working on yourself and your self-concept, but the other piece of the puzzle is bringing in everything else, what other people think. And you can do this with clients, right? You can do this with your business. You can do this with your family. You can do this with your specific person, anybody, any person out there, right? You can do it with cashiers. Cashiers love me. They always give me great deals and forget to scan stuff in.
I love that. I go out now, I get a lot of discounts. Like,
Yeah.
people stuff all the time, especially free coffee. I love coffee. So my thing is, every time I go to a coffee shop, they always want to give me free coffee. And I don't even give a reason. I'm just like, there could be any reason. They just give me free coffee because they want to. And I actually messaged me on LinkedIn, and he was a veteran just like me. And he's like, I own a coffee shop in Minnesota, where I'm from. And I was like, no way. And he's like, I want to send you 3 full bags of coffee for free. And I was like, no way.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
so
yeah.
excited about that. And like, that just shows you that, it can come from anywhere. It can happen at any moment. It doesn't matter. Like, it's going to happen. And that's the exciting part, is when you do affirm for other people, like, no, he's crazy about me. There is no other way. You are assuming that, and that is playing out, even if you don't always see it. And let's say you want to see it. I intend to see my intentions in my 3D reality.
Oh, I love that. I say that every single day. Were you in my head this morning?
Yeah, like, all the time, because sometimes I get impatient. I'm like, I want to see it now. I intend to see it now. And I do. I will. Let's say I'm looking. Sometimes I do that. I'm like, I'm looking right now. I intend to see it in my 3D reality because I want my manifestation. I want my free coffee, or I want my SV to tell me I'm beautiful today. I want my SV to text me. Like, it will happen. You assume
Yeah.
it will.
Exactly. Exactly. So guys, you know, that's you know, how you recreate somebody and get rid of the third party. Spend some time on focusing on what the other person thinks about you and what the other person thinks about the third party and what the third party thinks. And, you know, everyone's you pushed out, and, you know, you're the operant power in your reality, whether you want to say you're the god of your reality or it's your quantum bubble, right? So, you know, use you know, take the time to, and, you know, oh yes, I was going to say, sorry, it'll relieve your anxiety. If you guys have anxiety, if any of you guys have anxiety comes from about worrying, and most of the time it's worrying about what other people think. Okay, so when you're actually spending some time going, no, this is what so and so actually thinks about me, you're going to see your anxiety level go right down, like seriously right down, if what you worry about is what people think about you. So, which I know is incredibly common. One thing I heard when I was younger was like, you know, and this helped me with my anxiety, is people don't even think about you for more than 30 seconds, and they're thinking about themselves for the rest of the time. And that's totally true. Most of the time people are worried about what other people think of them more than they're worried about anything about you. You know what I mean? So, you know, take the time to start to really, you know, focus on you know, what other people think about you, and that's going to relieve your anxiety. Instead of worrying about what they think about you, start creating it, you know, really start to create it, and you'll start to see it reflect back in your reality, and you guys will get movement, serious movement. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Maddy.
Thank you.
And yes, that's amazing, guys. Yeah, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.